Hi everyone, my name is Bill Anisevich. I'm the Deputy Fire Chief here with the Elmhurst Fire Department. Today we're going to be taking you on a virtual tour of the fire station. Why don't you come on in? Today we're going to take you on a virtual tour of the fire station.
190 North Michigan Street, Elmhurst, Cross Street of East Elmhurst Avenue and East 3rd Street.
So as you hear, the fire department is going on a call for a
Elmhurst
sick person right now. The alert just went over the air. That notifies the firefighters who are now getting dressed, as you can see out the door here. Every call that we go on, we try to get out the door into the scene in less than 3 minutes. The call will come into the fire station on a board. It gives us the address and what the nature of the call is. And the firefighters get dressed and respond, as you can see here. So once the firefighters return to the station, the next job that they have to do is they have to enter the report into the computers. I'll show you how that process takes place. The lieutenant's office is where the shift commander for the day will do the reports, check the log, and make sure that all the personnel complete the training required for each day. He also has a computer and the necessary equipment to do the reports and make sure they get entered into our storage system. After every call, the firefighters back the equipment back into the station and they wash it down to make sure it's clean and ready to respond to the next incident. This is engine 2, which was purchased in 2010. Many people don't understand the difference between a fire engine and a fire truck. The fire engine carries all the hose and has a tank of water, which we utilize to put out a fire. The back of engine 2, we have 700 feet of supply line, which helps us go from the hydrant to a structure fire and to get the appropriate amount of water we need to extinguish a fire. The engines have tools that are used to extricate victims from vehicle collisions, the jaws of life, saws for ventilation, and fans to clear smoke during a structure fire. Air packs, portable lighting and rope equipment for our technical rescue teams for above grade and below grade rescue. And multiple extinguishers that we can use quickly when we do not have to deploy hose lines. Firefighter Brennan here has a thermal imaging camera, which is a very useful tool inside of a structure fire to assist us with search and rescue, to locate victims, and also to help find the scene of the fire. Firefighter Brennan is now ready to respond into a structure fire. Overall, this equipment adds 30 to 40 pounds to the firefighter, not including the axes, pulling charged hose lines, and actually other equipment that is used to force entry into the building. This is Rescue 1. This vehicle was put into service in 2017 and it responds to all ALS calls throughout the city of Elmhurst. It's dedicated solely to the residents of Elmhurst, and it takes the overflow calls. If our Medic 1 or Medic 2 is on a call, this will respond, decreasing the response time for an ALS company to arrive. The two vehicles behind me are our 1921 antique fire engine. This was the first fire engine that was with a pump that was purchased through the city of Elmhurst. Throughout the years, both the firefighters and Public Works have helped restore this to its original condition. This vehicle actually is able to pump, and you might see it in many of the parades throughout the year. Behind it is the fire safety house. We use that with the Park District to deliver fire safety programs such as Learn Not to Burn and having escape plans in the home. So this is Medic 2. Medic 2 responds to all the EMS calls throughout the city, on the south side of the city. Paramedic Herzog is going to give you a demonstration of what is carried inside the ambulance.
Alright, so this is our jump bag. We bring this in with us on every call. This has one of everything that's in here. So anything we could need or possibly may need is in this bag. So this comes in with us on every call. This has all of our medications, anything for any sort of trauma that we might encounter, anything of that sort. This is our monitor. This is what we use to take all of our vitals on. Again, this comes with us on just about every call. With these two bags and this stretcher, we can run any kind of call that we'll encounter. The rest of the cabinets back here basically just have extras of what's in these two bags. So we never run low, we never run out. Outside of that, we got some extra supplies in this big roll-up cabinet that we might get into, but that's for really sick patients. We don't really use that unless it's somebody who's really sick. We got extra gloves, stuff of that nature. But that's it. We can run any call that we might get with everything on this stretcher.
So when responding to calls in the city, the paramedics are taking extra precaution and wearing PPE on every incident. Paramedics Herzog and McDermott are going to demonstrate the PPE we use.
So we wear gloves on every call. That's pretty standard. Right now we're wearing these masks. This is an N95 mask. They look different, but everybody wears one that's different because we all have different faces, so they're fitted to our face. So we will wear those. We also have the blue aprons. This is just to keep germs separate, so we don't get any germs we do get on us. We can take it off, and it all stays to that, rather than sticking to our clothes. We only have so many change of clothes, so we use this to keep it separate from our clothes, so we don't have to keep changing. We have a goggles or visor, depending on what we're doing. Most of the time we will wear the goggles. For anything that might get a little more serious, we will put the visor on instead. It just has a little bit more protection to your entire face versus just your eyes for the goggles. Standard though would be goggles. And that's what we wear on every call now.
This is the newest addition to the Elmhurst fleet, Ladder 2. It's a 107-foot ladder that's on top of the apparatus. The rig carries various equipment for different types of response. We have technical rescue, confined space rescue, hazmat, vehicle extrication, and then fire ventilation and extinguishment capabilities with this vehicle. This has a much shorter wheelbase, and the overall price was a lot less expensive than the larger ladder trucks that you see on other departments. These cabinets carry ventilation equipment, different saws for cutting roofs and opening up so we can ventilate the house, fans for clearing smoke. This side of the vehicle is set up for extrication. We have cutters, spreaders, stabilization equipment, things that we could use to hold the car steady while the firefighters work to extricate a victim from inside. Different type of stabilizing equipment and cribbing throughout the other compartments. So this is some of the old technology that we had at the fire stations. This is actually brought from the original fire station that was on this site just next door. This station that we're in today was built in 2010. So in the old time, we used to pull these maps down and physically come over here to look at each individual address. The map is broken down into districts, so we could pinpoint the actual address that we're responding to. today's technology, each vehicle is equipped with a mapping system on board. As soon as the call comes in from the dispatch center, it transmits it to the cab of the apparatus that's responding, so we know exactly where we're going and where the actual fire hydrant is at if it's a fire. This is the public education office. Throughout the week, we have firefighters on duty that deliver programs to schools and to different residential living centers throughout Elmhurst. If you're interested, once the stay-at-home orders is complete, you can schedule an appointment with one of the officers or call City Hall and talk to the administrative assistant, Lauren Wolf. A firefighter shift starts at 8 a.m. and ends at 8 a.m. So they spend the entire 24 hours here at the station. After 5 p.m., firefighters are allowed to come into here to have some downtime. This is the day room. Connects to the kitchen where they prepare their meals. Throughout this COVID incident, the residents of Elmhurst have been extremely gracious to us, delivering meals and pastries almost on a daily basis, and we can't thank them enough for their support. This area here is again the kitchen and day room, and then I'll take you back into the actual kitchen area. Everything gets disinfected in the morning and again at 8 p.m. We have specialized disinfectant machines that create an ultraviolet wave throughout the station, and it takes all the bacteria and COVID particles off of the surfaces. We also continually wipe down all the chairs, tables, in the living quarters and the day room. Okay, this is the living quarters. This is where the firefighters are allowed to decompress and rest between nighttime calls. This is the weight room, where firefighters are allowed to come in to do physical fitness and work out throughout the day. One of the off-duty firefighters here today working out on his day off. This is the gear lockers. This is where the firefighters and paramedic hang their gear after each shift, and they keep it organized so it's ready to go once they start the shift at 8 a.m. This is the hose tower. When you drive by the station, it looks just like a normal clock tower, but it was designed this way for a specific reason. After a fire, the firefighters store the hose and actually wash it and clean it and hang it in the hose tower to dry. If you come on in and take a look, you can see how this whole process works. The firefighters take each individual hose, hang it on the hook, and take it to the top of the tower to let it air dry for several days. Once it's ready, we'll take it back down and repack it onto the apparatus. So I want to thank you for visiting the fire station today. Remember to be safe and stay well.